All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be taking a look kind of side by side at two of our most popular optics. And so it's going to just jump right into it. We are going to be comparing our flagship ThermNight series, and specifically this is the 635 ThermNight against the Hydra. And again, keep things fair. This is going to be the 6 series Hydra as well. So let's kind of take a look, see where they overlap and see where they vary, and look at the use case for each one. Now, obviously, if you have been following us for any period of time, you know that when we debuted the ThermNight, one of the major kind of value points that we called out was the fact that it gave you thermal and day-night in a single unit. So it does have a 640 by 512 thermal sensor in here, and the magnification on it is going to be a 1.5 to 6. The thermal component of the ThermNight is pretty much exactly what you're going to get in the Hydra as well. It's that same 640 sensor, and it's going to be that same 1.5 to 6x magnification. Both of these optics also are going to have the recoil activated recording feature, and again, mostly for our hunting users. What it's going to do for you is when you press that trigger, the recoil is going to give you the 6 seconds prior to the trigger press, as well as the 6 seconds after. So you're going to have this nice kind of bookend little clip of the shot that you just took. Both of them obviously are going to have onboard memory as well. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put up the actual stats in terms of how much memory each optic is going to have. So the similarities in the thermal and the recoil activated recording, as well as the onboard memory, let's look at where these kind of start to deviate from each other. The Hydra, one of the major features that people were really excited about from day one was the fact that this optic can serve as a clip-on in front of an LPVO or maybe like an EOTech style reflex sight. And the advantage there is because of its small footprint and long eye relief, it allows you a little bit more flexibility. However, not to be outdone, while the Hydra will serve as a clip-on, one of the big sort of exciting pieces that was a major call-out of the entire ThermNight line was the onboard laser rangefinder. And again, because this pairs the thermal with a day-night scope, you're going to have a little bit more distance capability, and the value of the laser rangefinder plays in to a couple of other features on the ThermNight that we're going to touch on here in a second. The real separating piece on the Hydra that makes this a real unique optic is the Hydra was the first thermal series that we're offering with super resolution. The digital image enhancement of the super resolution is there because if you're at all familiar with digital magnification, once you go beyond the base mag, you're simply enlarging the existing image or making the pixels bigger. So what the super resolution does is it cleans that image up and it retains a little bit more of the initial image clarity at magnification. When you're talking about a thermal only optic, this is immensely useful because it's going to give you better target identification at magnification. Now, on the ThermNight, I mentioned that the laser rangefinder ties in with some of the other features of the scope. The big one being the onboard ballistic calculator. So once you have your load data uploaded to the scope and you have your target ranged, the optic does all the math for you. So it's going to show you your holdovers, or it'll simply re-zero the optic for point of aim, point of impact. It's a real exciting feature. It was one of the things that I found most appealing of the ThermNight when I got introduced to it at the beginning, and it's something that really sets us apart. On the Hydra, because of its small, compact form factor, like I said, it works great as a clip-on in front of another optic, or, especially without the eye cup, it'll fit in a mag pouch or a cargo pocket super easy. So if you're not going to use it rifle-mounted, or if you're going to use it with the ADM clip-on mount that you can pick up on the website, it also just stashes in a pocket super handy, so you can use it as a scanner as well. Because obviously, sometimes you're going to need to see something that you don't necessarily need to be pointing a muzzle at. So being able to take the optic off the rifle, use it as a handheld scanner, and then put it back on just makes it that much more versatile. And then finally, with the ThermNight, it is not just a thermal optic. As I mentioned at the beginning, you also have a 5 to 20 day-night scope as well. And so what that's going to do, it's going to give you a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more versatility. So if we're really just going to do kind of the heads up Pepsi challenge between these two, what is the optimum use case for each? Well, the Hydra really plays well with others. So it's going to be able to kind of plug and play in a variety of different circumstances. So whether you want to run it as a dedicated optic, whether you want to run it as a scanner, or put it in front of your favorite LPVO, this is going to give you thermal capabilities in a bunch of different use cases. Whereas the ThermNight is going to be more the jack of all trades. And so what that's going to do is, instead of having to combine the ThermNight with another optic, like you might with the Hydra, this is your all-in-one package. If you need the thermal capability, it's there. A good example of this is I have a buddy out in Georgia who, interestingly enough, it is legal to hunt during normal hunting hours with a thermal optic. He found this incredibly valuable because through the daytime scope, he was kind of losing the deer that he was tracking through the brush. Since he had the thermal in the picture-in-picture, he was able to still maintain contact with that heat signature and be able to track that deer in an environment where he would have struggled if it was just the visible spectrum. So the other part is, because you have the 5 to 20 magnification, whether you are shooting at small targets, rats, squirrels, small critters, or whether you want to push this thing out to distance, the ThermNight's going to do it for you. We have one of the guys in our office who took one of these things out and used it to qualify for the 1,000-yard range at one of the local shooting facilities here. Between the image clarity on the 5 to 20 and the ballistic calculation, it was just one and done every single trigger press. We're probably going to be doing a video feature on that as well, so stay tuned. It was really impressive to see. So that's kind of the highlight. Both of these are fantastic options. Each one is going to have its own unique use case, really depending on what your needs are. If you want something that's going to be a little bit more general purpose, it's going to work in the daytime, it's going to work at the nighttime, it's going to work at distance, and you really just kind of want a single set it and forget it, and you're going to be able to grab this rifle and do pretty much whatever you need, the ThermNight is likely going to be what you want to go with. If you already have like a favorite critter gun and you just want to bump up the capability that you've already got, the Hydra is going to be a great option for that, especially, like I said, when you pair it with the ADM QD mount, because what that's going to let you do is keep it as that handheld scanner, and then once you've figured out, zoned in on where your targets are, you pop it on the rail in front of your optic, and you're good to go. I want to hear what questions you've got on this, because obviously we have our uses for these, but we always want to hear how you guys are using the product as well. Put that down in the comments, and other than that, stay tuned. We're very excited to have some more projects coming out here soon. And if you want to be the first to hear about new releases, go to the website and sign up for the newsletter, because that is the easiest way for you to find out about new product releases, special promotions, and all the other great stuff that we have to offer.